I love comic book movies. I love, from Iron Man to Captain America to Thor, The Avengers, Amazing Spider-Man, and the new Man of Steel. I love watching them. I love everything about them, to be honest. They're not perfect, but I do enjoy watching them immensely. And in today's world, I think any comic book can be brought to life because special effects are now at that point. So now DC are making their own movies, and I think it'd be good if they did a shared universe like Marvel, but they have to do it right. And I like where they're going with it so far with the Man of Steel because I enjoyed that. But I think I read somewhere that they want to keep it realistic to an extent, obviously, because I don't know. It's kind of silly when you think about it. Keep it realistic when we're talking about like a movie like Man of Steel, where the main character can fly and pick up cars like they're tin cans. I mean, how realistic is it? But they want to base it in a more realistic world. And I was reading somewhere that they thought that might be hard with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Green Lantern, whatever. Just they thought it'd be harder with certain characters, but actually, I don't see why it should be because you just have to come up with the right idea. So I think this video will be about an idea of how to do Wonder Woman. So let's start. Let's think of an idea. Let's say first of all, let's talk about the character of Wonder Woman in the comics. Originally, not the New 52 comics, but originally Wonder Woman was created by the gods. She was made from clay, and the gods breathe life into her. That's the original story for Wonder Woman, and she is given to the Queen of the Amazons as her daughter. Now I think it's Zeus is her father or something. I don't know. I like the original way better, to be honest. But fair enough. They changed it to Zeus is the father. Fine. I like the clay one better. So, if we're going to go realistic, obviously, we're not going to have them as actual gods. So, obviously, they're going to have to be aliens. An advanced alien race that came to Earth, say, 5,000 years ago or 10,000 years ago, whatever. And, they set themselves up as gods and they're worshipped. Say they were worshipped for a long time, and then as time went by, people stopped worshipping them, and so except for the Amazons, we'll say that the Amazons continue to worship them. So these aliens moved what was left of the Amazon race to an island called Themyscira from the comics. So what we'll say is that these aliens, these gods, we'll just call them gods actually, because that's what they go by. They shared certain things with the Amazons, say technology and maybe genetic enhancements as well, which gave the Amazons long life and got excellent health, long life, things like that. And right, so there you go. So they're aliens. They like being worshipped. It was something they enjoyed. And when people stopped worshipping them, they simply allowed the Amazons to. Now, let's see. We'll say that the gods, in reality, they used genetic enhancements on themselves. They used their technology and their knowledge of genetic manipulation to make themselves powerful, physically powerful. So like Ares, the god of war, he's incredibly strong, maybe invulnerable, and who the hell is it? Aphrodite has the ability to make anyone fall in love with her using pheromones. anyway, so they did these kind of things to themselves. Zeus gave himself the ability of, say, electromagnetism, similar to Magneto, so he can fire lightning from his hands and, like, things like that. So anyway, the time comes. Anyway, no. So we could also say that the Amazons are like an army of the gods as well. That they fight their enemies for them, and we'll make their enemy, say, Hades, who is someone who wanted to. No, Hades can be someone who wanted to take over the earth, and the rest of the gods didn't agree with him, and so they fought, and the Amazons fought with the gods against Hades. And Hades could be someone who uses genetic manipulation to alter humans, turn them into monsters, basically. And that was his army. He could use like animal DNA and things like that to turn a human, to make a human powerful, things like that. Anyway, so we could say that they fought, and obviously the gods won. Time continued, and say 25 years ago, the gods decide to leave. They want to go somewhere else. We could say, going from the comics, we could say they go to New Genesis, which is a home for the new gods, if you like. But before they leave, they used all their knowledge, genetic manipulation, to create a child as a protector of the Amazons. And of course, this child is Wonder Woman. They use their most advanced technology, everything they have, and they create a woman who's as powerful, almost as strong as Superman, can fly, can do all that stuff. And so they create her and they leave her as a gift for the queen of the Amazons and as the protector. But of course, the island doesn't really need protecting. It's got advanced technology. It's even cloaked, so no one can even see it. So, in truth, it's, they don't really need a protector. But anyway, that's, they want to show a sign of appreciation before they leave, and they give the Amazons this one last gift. So we move forward, say, 25 years, and Wonder Woman is basically, she's bored because she's been on this island her whole life. She's powerful. She's so much more powerful than anyone else, and she doesn't even know the point in her power because there's no one to protect, no one to look after, nothing. So she's watching TV one day, because obviously they have the ability to see the rest of the world, they just choose not to live in it. So she's watching and she sees the attack on Metropolis. She sees what happens and she wanted to leave, but she didn't. She wanted to go and help them, but her mother convinced her not to. But after the attack, she decides she wants to leave. She's not of use on Themyscira, so she leaves. And she decides she wants to travel the world, see some of the world, and that's it. So she goes. Right, what else can happen next? How about she ends up in... She's travelling the world. Let's think. What can happen next? How about she hears of attacks in a particular city, say New York, and these attacks are like something out of myth. People saying that a minotaur is attacking them, and people who look like animals are attacking people. So she goes to investigate, and there she learns that, say, Hades, who was defeated by the gods, but he hid away on Earth. He's resumed his genetic manipulation experiments, and he's creating monsters again. And let's see, going back to the comics, we could have one of the experiments could be the cheetah. In the comics, don't actually know that much about her character, to be honest. Anyway, but so Wonder Woman goes to New York, and we could say she meets Steve Rogers, even though I never liked his character. But we could say she meets his character, and let's say he's ex pilot for the Air Force, and now he's working for, say, the NSA, something like that, or Homeland Security, something like that. And she goes there and meets him and fights Hades, fights these creatures he's created. What else? You know, if they do this, one thing they want to remember, one thing that was lacking in the Man of Steel movie is that it was characterization. And they got to remember, if they do Wonder Woman, that she's someone who has been isolated from the world. She's never even met a man. So she's obviously never had sex, has never had male friends, and also she's been raised to be a warrior. So she's been taught to kill her enemy. So we could, if they remember that, they've got to write the character correctly, So they've got to. Man, I'm terrible at talking, aren't I? I'm terrible at this. Alright. When they write her character, they want to remember that because of her isolation, she would react differently to things. She could see a woman being attacked, and she wouldn't try to just stop a guy from attacking her. She'd probably rip the guy's head off from his shoulders. Obviously, we won't go that far because it's not an 18 film. It's only going to be like a 12 or something at most, or maybe a 15 at the most. But even that's probably the guy even pushing it. Probably a 12. It's going to be a certificate. Well, PG-13. I think that's what you say in America, PG-13. Anyway. But that's, we've got to show that she's more aggressive, far more aggressive than Superman. She has no real qualms about taking life if she believes it's the right thing to do. So, plus, if it's written correctly, they could have her, being attracted to people, to guys, and because she's never even met a guy, she knows nothing, and her mother's taught her nothing about sex or anything like that. But then again, she's seen things on TV, and that could be something they talk about. Hades, the character, the villain Hades, if that's who they went with, he could be interesting. He could have hidden on Earth, become very powerful and rich. Maybe he's created biological weapons that he's sold to the military, things like that, and to terrorists. But more than anything, he wants to build an army again to take over the world. He believes that humans are under him, so why wouldn't he want to? So, let's see. So, I don't know why I keep saying that. Oh man, it's when I don't know what to say. I say things like that, don't I? I just say so when I'm not sure what to say. Okay then. So what do we have? Oh man, I'm gonna keep on saying it. I can't help it. We have the gods being aliens. we have the Amazons being given advanced technology and their own island where they've lived for 1,000 years or so since humans stopped worshipping the gods and everything. Wonder Woman is their greatest creation, the most powerful being they've ever created, even more powerful than themselves. She was raised as a warrior, and Hades could be the primary villain. We could go with Steve Rogers as the main love interest if they wanted to do that. But to be honest, I've always liked the idea of Batman, Bruce Wayne, being her love interest. In the comics right now, they've got Wonder Woman and Superman together, but to me, I've always thought that Wonder Woman and Batman would make a much more interesting couple. She's so powerful, but in his own way, so is he. He's not physically powerful, but he's supposed to be just like normal human. I mean, Batman's like the greatest human on Earth, if you know what I mean. He's like his mind, body, he's honed everything to perfection. So I've always thought it'd be cool if they put Wonder Woman and Batman into a movie together as love interests. I doubt they'll do that, but if they did, I think that'd be really cool. And how would people react? I mean, in the film, they should also show a reaction of people now that they're seeing another being like Superman that exists. She's so powerful and she's even more aggressive. So how would they react? Would they think that she's an alien as well? Would they want to kill her? And of course, would the government want to control her? Which they probably would. But she'd be more uncontrollable in a way, wouldn't she, than even Superman is. Anyway, that's my idea for a Wonder Woman movie. Basically, it's just ideas put down on how to make it more realistic, I suppose. I mean, the alien thing is always going to be what makes it more realistic, I suppose, isn't it? If they don't want to go with mythical gods, they'll have to turn them into aliens. And there's nothing wrong with that, I suppose. I mean, what is a god, really, except someone who's so powerful, he's just, that you just don't understand how he can do what he can do, so you think of it as a god. And that's, what an alien would be a couple of 1,000 years ago. And that's it. I suppose that's it, yeah. Can't think of anything else. Done correctly, I think Wonder Woman could be a really good film. But they don't need to spend $225 million on it, though. They don't need as much action as Man of Steel. But when they do the action, they just got to keep it right. And hopefully they'll remember that Wonder Woman in the comics, and hopefully in the movie as well, will be almost as powerful as Superman. So I hope they remember that, Anyway, that's my idea for a Wonder Woman movie. And I'm going to also put down an idea for Batman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, The Flash. I'm going to put my ideas down for that. So that's... Oh, man. So I'll say so a million more times, I suppose, and then that'll be that. Now, that's it. If you have any ideas, put them down, Let's hear them. Hopefully they'll actually listen to the people's ideas, because a lot of people have good ideas. I'm sure a lot of you do. So, yeah, just put them down and that's it. Okay then, if you have any ideas, just write them down. And take care.